welcome back to Vision Pros Live. Today I've got Janet Prado, and I am so excited to hear all about her vision for the people that she's serving and for her business. Welcome to the show. This is going to be great. Janet, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Janet Prado. I am the host and creator of Happiness from Within, here on a mission to inspire over 1 billion souls to find happiness and healing.
1 billion. Oh my goodness.
Over
Over a
1 billion.
billion. Yeah, wow. I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, I want to hear everything about it. We're going to talk about this first. What's the vision? These over 1 billion people, how are you serving them? What is this vision you have?
Yeah, so just to tell you briefly about where this emerged from, right? I think it's really important. So I had a incurable disease on my body for like over 20 years. The doctors told me that I would never walk again. And I wanted to prove, them wrong, right? They were just doing the best that they could, right? But I knew deep in my heart that there was something. I said, there has to be a way, right? Combining Western and also holistic medicine together, right? I was introduced to what's called Anthony Williams. He's also known as the medical medium, but basically I started applying his protocols, and I went to see my doctor a few years ago, and he's like, I don't think you have that condition anymore. And I was like, wow, after so many years, right? You can imagine, it was just like, I couldn't believe it, to be very honest with you. I couldn't believe it, what was it? It was in 2020 that I discovered his information, right? We're in 2025 now. So when I started basically using food to basically start reversing 30 plus symptoms that I was having, right? And one of the biggest ones was that like there was this cyst in the back of my knee that kept coming back, right? Benign, but still very, difficult to sit down, and I could still walk, but it was very hard to bend the knee, right? After I had my third surgery that I had healed my knee. I knew on a spiritual level that I had did that because I went from bending my knee from 30 degrees back to normal to 180 degrees. So you could imagine that being so life-changing, being able to have more movement and, starting to kind of get my life back again, right?
That's incredible.
2020 though, like I started having chronic illness sometimes. So it wasn't really so much about the knee anymore. It was about just things. It's to be very open with you. It's all viral. Basically there's virus in the body, and you have to reduce the viral load in the body. After several years, it does take time. It's not something that happens overnight, right? But long story short, I've come a long ways in my health. I recently transitioned from being a holistic health coach to now have a higher calling, which is it's to be a light guide. I think what the heck is a light guide? It's basically just a messenger of light. And, and I do that. I'm actually already doing that through my podcast. I've interviewed over 100 entrepreneurs, beautiful souls from all over the world. And I also just came out with my single, Honor Your Vessel, which is really about honoring yourself, right? The main focus is on women, right? But I feel like now I'm expanding that more. Like recently, for example, I've been on TikTok. This is an example, right? And I don't know, something told me to start doing card readings, just as another service, right? It's really interesting though, just that small demographic that I'm serving right now, right? A lot of people are telling me, wow, like you're very accurate on what you're saying. I was like, well, I am a medium, but I said I'm not not like you're trying to predict your future. I'm just trying to like give them a message of, again, as a light guide, right? To help to bring them hope, right? So, and it combines very well with the podcast because, the podcast episodes are great. I'm continuing to do that. But like I said, I'm just that messenger of light, wanting to be of hope to other people, right? Because there's, as we all know, all of us watching this, there's a lot of things going on our planet. I don't even need to tell you. I don't want to go into it because we're keeping a high vibe here. There's a lot of things that are happening that should not be happening. There's a lot of turmoil on this planet. We need people like you watching this, people that are thinking on a different level in whatever form that looks like for you, right? especially, all of us being entrepreneurs, we have a platform, we have a voice that we can use to uplift the vibration of the planet, right, in a positive way. And so, yeah, I mean, my vision for how I serve people is through that, usually through my voice. So,
That's fascinating, and what an incredible journey. Like
thank you.
that's amazing. Do you have a book?
Not yet. That has been on the list for quite some time. Yeah.
I can see where that would be really, really amazing just to get to share the whole story, because that's
Thank you.
wow, that's wonderful. And I love that you were able to take 20, 30 years of real, in a sense, almost life and death struggle.
Yeah.
It could have gone either way for sure. And coming out on the other side with this heart to really bless and to help others, over 1 billion. That's amazing. How did you
Thank
get to that number?
Actually, I was inspired by one of my multi-million dollar friend. His name is David Meltzer. You actually probably have heard of him.
Hmm.
He's has a marketing agency, and he's now the head of the Think and Grow and Rich Foundation. But
Okay.
he's such a humble human being. I've just gotten to know him over the years. He's been on my podcast, and I go to his events, and I like to be around those like-minded people. And that's actually one of his missions, is to help over 1 billion people to find happiness. And he wants other people to kind of have that mindset. And so I thought, you know what? I want to apply that to my mission, helping over 1 billion people to find happiness and healing, because I feel like I'm already doing that. But I said, and he was very specific. He's like, it's not 1 billion, Jeanette. He's like, it's over 1 billion, because I don't want to limit myself. And I said, I don't want to limit myself either. But he's an amazing human, David Meltzer. He's just such a humble human being.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I love that, because I think it's what, 8 billion on the planet at this point,
Yeah.
slightly over. So I love that, because you're covered, right? We could get every single man, woman, and child, and that's wonderful. That's so cool. Well, tell me a little bit about that's a massive goal. Where are you now? What do you want? How? What does the vision look like for how you're going to get there and where
Yeah,
you want to end
absolutely.
up?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I'm very humbled by that question. It's an everyday journey. I really think it starts with being clear. I mean, and just recently, for example, transitioning from, you know, being a holistic health coach, which was beautiful. I served many women for many, many years. It's just I knew that it was just time to expand that. I want to just focus on the food, like with the spiritual aspect of it. Like I said, like my inner voice, your Buddhahood, whatever, my inner higher self said, you got to start playing on a different level, because you have this big vision. Your body pretty much is healed at such a deep level. And it's really interesting. I want to share this with you, because some of my other friends in the medical medium community that have healed their body after many, many years are also on the same platform, which is really interesting. What I mean platform is they also want to serve the light. They want to use their platform to use their voice. And I was transitioning right at the same time. And what was really funny? And for those of you guys that are watching and listening to this, like, the piece of advice I can give you is, like, if you're trying to do something and it's not, let's say maybe you're trying to transition into something too. I'm kind of just tuning into the energy here to see people that are watching. I feel like the message for you is that if you're transitioning, or even just starting a business, transitioning is the word I keep getting. Just trust it, because I'm telling you, like, everything will flow, right? Because when I launched the single Honor Your Vessel, that's when, like, the floodgates started to open. And what do I mean by that? It was like, I just wasn't getting clients anymore. Can you believe I wasn't getting clients for months? I was like, why am I not getting clients? And it's holistic health coaching when there's like millions of people that are sick, and I wasn't getting one client. And I finally, like, I had to wake up. I was just like, hello, we've been trying to tell you, shift, 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 right? And so I was like, okay, and I kept hearing, like, go on TikTok, there's just another audience, younger audience that you can serve with everything else that you're doing. And then things are just flowing, and it's just like there's other programs that I'm putting together. And, it's like, I really feel this is going to happen is really getting on more podcast episodes like this. I'm also going to be working with a coach very soon. I want to start speaking on stages because I really think that's where it's really going to escalate, right? Because the beautiful thing about being on stages is that you're already in front of an audience that wants what you offer, right? And so, my vision is just to be able to, again, not only help the younger audience, but also help, obviously, entrepreneurs that are really struggling, right? Like, that are looking to really heal those deep wounds, right? To prosper. And so I really feel that my voice can do something with that, and also with my music. I have other songs that I'm writing right now that's flowing, and I want to be able to produce more of that and use my voice to just inspire people to heal. So
That's great. I mean, your whole everything is in on this, like voice, your mind, like everything is in on this. And I love that you're aiming at stages because, with a goal of over 1 billion, it's like one-on-one that you'd have to live a long, 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 long life, to reach everybody. But when you're, able to speak to groups and, like you said, people that are already there, they're in the room because they want to hear it. That's fantastic. That's so cool. I love that. Awesome. I love, this is just exciting to hear and to see somebody who's really got a mission that they're following.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.